Welcome everyone. This one, as you can see, is slightly different. I told myself I'm not going to have a podcast, but somehow it's kind of converted to a podcast-looking format.
We podding.
Yeah. One thing I just remembered, because I'm going to hit record here, because now I got to record. Before, everything was on the riverside, but here we are podding together. I got my guy, Greg Cally. Luckily, we was together last night. We'll talk about that a little bit. So we figured instead of being remote, we just come in person today. So Greg, I want you to do your own little introduction, and what I mean is like let the people know what you done since you picked up a camera, just briefly, the different kind of platforms you have and host, because this guy's a jack of all trades. So you could talk to this camera.
Yeah, my name is Greg Cally, obviously Haitian American film director, producer, screenwriter, content creator, digital content, all of the above. It's been a journey of I want to say it's been about 14 years now since I've really picked up a camera and got behind the camera and started producing content. All started off as a writer, just wanted to do interviews and journalism, and then eventually that evolves. When you don't have budgets, you have to be a jack of all trades. So, I got into filming my own interviews. I got into doing event coverage, filming, celebrity concerts and interviews and all that good stuff, and having stuff go viral on TMZ and a Complex and all of these big places. And then that matured into filmmaking, where I got to start producing and directing projects with HBO, ESPN, Vice TV. So now, I curate events. I don't do photography as much as I used to, but you always got to stay ready because you never know when you got to get ready. But a lot of film and video work, and then obviously in terms of the sports realm, I worked for the Knicks for about 12 seasons. So I've lived many lives in this creative world.
That's why I had to have you do your own little intro, because I'm like, I could go everywhere, and a lot of the moments since before Greg picked up a camera, I've been kind of part of his life, but then once he picked up a camera, for sure, we've tagged along on this journey a lot. So I know a lot more, so I wanted to give the audience a little bit about that. I'll be looking at my laptop, everyone that's out there, just in case, with this production, we're trying to do a lot. But because you mentioned the Knicks, I guess, when you started to pick up a camera, how did working in that field, and you can talk about either celebrity driven or with the players and like being around that, but like, how did it, like, I guess one, just being on the back end of things, like you're in the locker room, you're doing whatever, how did that just like kind of shape that world? Because like most of us only see NBA on TV or through that realm, but you're in there at a young age because you're not that old and you done left the Knicks a long time ago. So,
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is being able to see the players off camera gave me a certain level of knowledge of how to capture them on camera. So being around the players in the locker room, seeing them duck and hide from the cameras, seeing the other side of them, when it came time for me to produce Dwayne Wade's ESPN documentary, like I knew the buttons we could push that will get a valid conversation. I knew the settings that he would react well in. And even when it came to photographing a lot of these guys, these athletes and things, I know the moments, I can anticipate the moments where you're going to see a glimpse of the real them. So instead of playing the volume game, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to wait on it. Like, I know eventually this frustration is going to come out, or this happiness is going to come out. And I kind of had a good feeling for that. And I got to be around a lot of the greatest photographers in the world. Like, I'm on the sideline talking to them every day, and a lot of them didn't even know I was in the media world. They just looked at me like, oh, you work for the Knicks, this is you, you're just a locker room attendant, this is what you do.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting here soaking up game. I'm getting to rub shoulders with Spike Lee and go to Spike, hey, give me some advice, like I want to learn how to become better at this or that. So it was just an environment that allowed me to like really retrieve a lot of knowledge and to connect with quote unquote celebrities to the point that I could be in the same room with them and not fan out and not be too excited. I'm not saying that's not justified to get excited, because these are some people that are some of your favorite athletes, musicians, whatever. So it is shocking when you see them. You know, I have one story in my life. The first time I met Sierra, I just froze up, because at that time I was just in love with Sierra. And I think I was like 18 or 19, and we come walking down the hallway, and she said, "Hey, good afternoon, how you doing?" And I was like, I literally couldn't speak. So having those experiences helps to now go and like be around a Jay-Z or a Beyonce or whoever and not lose your cool. It's like, oh, okay, I've been here, done that. So yeah, it was definitely a fruitful experience. And I think all experiences, whether there's an advantage to whichever angle, right? There's some other guys who might have a one-up on me because they're like, he's too used to being around them, so he doesn't capture the fan aspect of it. He's looking at it from more of this angle. I'm gonna capture it like I'm a crazy fan on the street. And that might go viral. That might be the wave that actually pops. A lot of the videos now are underproduced, that are like doing crazy on social media and YouTube. I got to work with Travis Hunter, the football player, and his video guy said like, yeah, we don't really like do complex edits, because the videos that have performed the best, we just like leave the camera running like a live stream.
Yeah, that's
and
what
he has millions and millions of views.
Yeah. Outside of his celebrity, it's just like that's what the generation now is. I think when we started, especially back then, and social wasn't that big of a thing, like, so we had to come up with just crazy concepts that are now the norm. And one thing that we didn't mention, but when you started like talking to Spike or started going on your route, you started your own publication.
Yeah.
So what age was that when you started that?
I had to be like 20. Maybe I was 21.
And I'm just thinking that because of our audience, you know, it is around that age and like transitioning and trying to find your own footing. So if you were, and this is a little fast forward, so usually you hear it on the end, but like if you were 21 now and like trying to start a publication in this world, what do you think you would do differently? Would you just go that just viral route of like just a phone, or what would you do?
So I don't want to say I regret the way that I did things, but I did make a lot of mistakes. I was so confident because I understood, I was pretty confident that I understood how to make content. And if you go back and look at that content, it stands the test of time. We could put those interviews and photo shoots. So just for people who don't know, you know, I had a publication called Page 31.
Let's see if I can find it.
And I partnered up with Daniel, and Daniel was our main studio photographer who shot all of our digital cover spreads.
And go to the website.
Yeah. Oh no.
No, that's all. Let me go find it. But I'm like,
no.
Sorry.
Yeah. We archived it. And I plan to actually put the archive back up as like a digital hub, like a website you can go to and just kind of visit the archive. But I want to do it in a cool way. But as we were doing that, my reason for doing that was because I didn't want to wait in line. I didn't want to go work at a big company, run and get someone's coffee, do all of the non-flattering work and like have to grind and like wait my time. Like I felt like I was ready. And I was ready from a content standpoint, but I was not ready from a business standpoint. I didn't understand how to make money off of this great content. And money isn't everything, but it is something. And when you're creating content that all of the billion-dollar conglomerates are grabbing your stuff and reposting it, and they're like getting all these views off of it, after a while you stop and think to yourself like, hey, I'm doing something wrong. How are they making money off my stuff and I'm not making money off of my stuff? So I would say it's cool to start your own thing, but what you should be most focused on is creating your own brand. Entrepreneurship is an opportunity where you can go work for other companies as an entrepreneur. I'm in there to obtain this knowledge that I could come bring back to my own business, or these connections, these relationships that I could come bring back to my own business and then flourish from there. So I think if I was 21 now, I would be trying to partner up with big companies to learn how to build my company up the right way. You know what I mean? Like, we were ambitious and we did a lot of great things. And anybody who knows our work from that time, to this day, I get phone calls off of those experiences. I have relationships off of those experiences and those content moments. One of my best friends is now, well, two of like, you know, Michael K. Williams was my mentor, my OG, and a good friend, and we bonded through the work that we did through my own publication. That was a lifelong relationship. Mac Wiles, me and Mac Wiles that's one of my best friends, and that all started with an interview. So,
yeah, I miss that one.
It's you know, it's just crazy that the work, like how the work has, and that's personal brand, I believe, because when that company came and went, people still remembered my brand, and my brand is not the Kim Kardashian brand. I don't have 1 million followers or whatever, but the right people know my name. That allows me to work the way that I want to work. And I think that's the most important thing. If you're young right now, you should be trying to build relationships and build a brand, a reputation of this guy does good work and this guy doesn't jerk people. I could be speaking off, but I don't really think that there's anybody in the business aspect who can say that I screwed them, or I didn't show up when I said I would show up, or I didn't deliver great content to the best of my ability. Obviously, the level I was at back then isn't the level I'm at now, but I feel like if you put your best foot forward, you're gonna flourish. You're gonna continue to flourish from it.
Yeah, I think that's what made me stand apart when it comes to, like, especially with celebrities. Like, Michael K. Williams was my first celebrity in actual photo shoot outside of my homies. So, you know, I'm like, as you mentioned that, I remember the very first time when we did Brooklyn and and I looked at those photos, which I will not show you, and just like how over processed they are, which I'll find them one day, but like just the editing, I guess that was the style back then. I was like, this looks terrible in terms of now how I shoot and everything, but like that thing I saw from my end looking at you stayed in contact with him. Obviously, you always had that relationship. That's why he came and did a shoot with us. And then it transpired when we did our second shoot, and it was around the corner. Every time I get off the train now, I look up, I'm going up, and it's that same spot. So, like, those are lifelong memories that I'm always going to hold on to, especially, like, with the time where I was with Mike and everything. And then with Mac, like you said. So these are things that, like you said, growing that brand. And, yeah, we probably didn't go the route of, like, getting an internship at a publication and really just trying to figure it out. But, you know, the connections that we've got have been great. When you left the garden, and like I think at this point you're probably going at a few years of just creating different type of things. What was your process of, like, all right, I'm gonna go at this full time? Like, what was your mindset of, like, I'm gonna just chase creating all these different types of content and like taking that leap?
It was twofold. So one of the blessings that I think that I had in my younger years, while yes, I didn't go and get the internship and do all of the like textbook things you should do when you want to build this career, is that I'm actually doing it in reverse when you think about it, because I spent like 10, 15 years almost just doing freelance work, never having a 9-to-5. And now I'm a senior video producer with Sports Illustrated. That's something that somebody would normally start at entry level, and then, but if you heard what I said, I'm a senior video producer. I would have never came in as a senior video producer. So instead of interning for the other companies, I quote unquote interned for myself, and I was able to still leverage that into a creative job that pays well and is like one of the biggest publications out there. But when I had to leave the Knicks, because it was like a seasonal job, you know, I had my summers off and stuff, it was a perfect flexibility for me to do my art and then lock into the job where I was working like 60 hours a week sometimes for the Knicks. And I had to tell myself that I was good enough. Like, I think I was holding on to that job for so long because I was scared to be out on my own.
Yeah.
The mindset was confidence. When I finally like was able to look myself in the mirror and say like, yo, you don't need any one thing. Like this bridge could burn down and you could go walk across the water. You know what I mean? Like, so for me, like when I decided like I wasn't going to work for the Knicks anymore, I could have kept working there, and they were very flexible and they were very like, hey, come when you can type of thing. But for me, I had to be 10 toes down on being a creative. I had to like truly commit to it, and I had to have the conviction to say like, nah, I'm doing this full time.
Yeah.
So my mindset was really just like wanting to reach my max potential, and knowing that by not putting all of my time into being a creative, that I was leaving a lot on the table. People had an advantage over me because those 12-hour, 15-hour days I was doing at the Garden, people were working on their craft. And I'm like, I don't like this. People are catching up to me. People are getting better than me. And I'm like, I don't like it. I want to be able to like know that I spent the same time that they spent. The moment that I walk in a room and I can't say I'm out working the people around me, then I'm like, all right, something got to change.
And speaking of outworking, what are some things, I guess, like, you know, sometimes we're always like, oh, we got to be at a shoot, we got to be at a gig, we got to be doing this and that out in person, and always that's part of it. But what are some of the things that are like unseen? Like, you know, I saw on your social recently, you talked about when you got hurt and some of the like internal work you did on yourself, and also what came out of that. If you could speak to like some of the unseen things sometimes that goes into work.
Yeah, in this career trajectory specifically, I had to learn who my friends were, right? We were out doing karaoke last night.
Yeah.
And those are guys that are my closest friends, but also my collaborators. These are people I like to work with. And, you know, for example, when I tore my ACL, who was calling me? Who was coming to see me, right? Who was, yo, we just want to, we'll come watch a movie with you to help pass the time. Those were the things that I had to do personal growth. Like as a creative, if you're not growing as a person, your creativity gets stagnant. There's no meaning to your work. You know what I mean? Like to now be directing and writing a film about the community and police. You know, I have a film called Spillover, which we just screened last night. And it's like, that doesn't happen without doing work on yourself and learning nuance of the world and things like that. It doesn't come out that same way. So I think YouTube University, first of all, even now, I'm watching masterclass. Like that's like my morning routine. I get up, I go on masterclass, I listen to Spike Lee, Issa Rae, whoever it is, talk about what their way of doing things is. Aaron Sorkin, screenwriting wise. So it's constant learning. Like I'm always trying to learn and try to hear different ways that people work on stuff. I'm always reading, because reading is how you really advance your mind as a creative. Like comprehension is how you're able to break down concepts faster. So the more you're reading, like the more your mind's, and I'm not reading as many books as I should, but even if it's just articles, even if it's just, even if you're just on Threads reading a bunch of stuff, you know, even though I try to limit my social media now. So I have an app called App Block that like, it stops me from being on social until 5 p.m.
Oh, wow.
So I can have a productive work day and
that.
really just lock in.
Yeah.
And now my productivity has soared through the roof because it's like, there's one less distraction. Because otherwise I'm always grabbing at my phone. You know, every now and then, last night we had an event, we're doing recap now, so I'll pause the app so that I can be timely in my reposting and stuff. But on a normal day-to-day, if it's not a special day, you know, on the weekends I'll let it kind of go, but not Monday through Friday, like, nah, no social media during the day, because that's going to allow me to like focus in. And those are the things that people don't see. I had to make that adjustment, and guess what? I was able to write more scripts this year. I was able to do more. Like my focus is just sharper now. It's more intact.
That's great to hear. Yeah, I feel like on my end, it's more just being out there and getting experiences. So, you know, like especially I think the good thing as a photographer, I don't do like street photography per se, but I'm obviously just out in the world and maybe just mentally capturing things. So that's how I think I'm like growing constantly. Because I could be at home doing nothing, but like if I have the opportunity to go out and meet someone or do whatever, like I was just on a trip and I was like, everyone's in their hotel room. I don't think I'll ever come back to this location ever again. Let me just go see what the locals are doing. So I didn't need my camera, but those are experiences that now I'll probably hopefully never forget. So I know one thing, I'm trying to think where to go next. When it comes to sports and basketball, I don't know if we worked on like a pilot and we don't got to go into details. I don't even know what we can share.
The whole docu-series.
Yeah, the docu-series.
We can talk about it.
Yeah, I just didn't know because I know like I want you to talk a little about your experience in diving into like this is all the knowledge that you've had from working at the Knicks behind the scenes to now being as a director on this thing, and just talk about your like how it came to fruition real quick, and then like how that was.
Yeah, so in my time working for the Knicks, I met Samir Hernandez. He's a big time executive producer, but at the time he was athlete rep for Jordan brands. So he repped like Carmelo Anthony, and I think Nike as well. He repped like Amari Stoudemire, like a lot of these guys. And honestly, like seeing like people that look like myself in positions of power, it just always inspires me. So we were always just friendly, and I always just like gravitated towards him because I just admired what he was doing. I wasn't looking for any gain from our relationship and stuff. And at one point, you know, Samir's like 6'9" or something like that. And I have a younger cousin who's 6'10", and he came to a Knick game, and Samir saw him and was like, yo, you struggling with sneakers?
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he was like, I can't get them in the stores, like I barely get anything. And he had us come to like his Washington Heights storage and gave my cousin like 50 pairs of sneakers.
Wow.
Didn't know my cousin from a hole in the wall,
Yeah.
just did it. So now later, Samir goes, he wins an Oscar, he wins an Emmy, and I called him and I was like, yo, I want to work with you. And I didn't want to work with him because of what he achieved. I wanted to work with him because I knew he was a good person. Like, yo, when I was not even in film and TV, you blessed my cousin. And those are the type of people I want to be in business with. So Samir, I told him like, yo, let's just get something. And Samir was thinking about doing a project about a high school basketball team. And he was like, yo, I need a story producer. I need someone to build this out. And for free, I was just building out the story. We didn't have no contracts. We didn't have no deal. I was just like, oh, let's vibe. And as I was building it, he saw my value and he was like, yeah, I want you to executive produce this with me. So I became an executive producer on it. We ended up getting funding from the MBPA to go shoot a proof of concept. Then the proof of concept was so good that they were like, yo, go shoot the series. And when it came time to staff that series, again, I wanted people I could trust. I got the karaoke crew, yeah. I wanted people I could trust, and I wanted people that I knew we were going to be around high school kids. We were going to be around a bunch of dreamers. And I wanted people that I knew had achieved their dream in some matter, because I didn't just want to capture a great show, but I wanted to affect those kids in the process. And I wanted those kids, like, I got Daniel, I got you to work on the project, and I got you to come be on as a producer. And one of the reasons I wanted you to come produce on it was not only because I know you're a dope creative and I know the level of work you could do, not only because part of me was like, yo, this is a level of Daniel's talent I don't think he's tapping into, that I want him to have an opportunity to do it on the film side. So that was part of it. But the other part of it was that you were somebody who played high-level high school basketball, won a state championship, and then had to go on and figure out life after basketball. And I wanted these kids to be able to look at somebody who lived their experience and is still in the game in a different way. So in my mind, I was like, yo, we're gonna do something that's dope, and it'll come to light soon. You know, we'll get it out there. But I really just wanted to affect those kids as much as those kids were giving us an opportunity to tell their story. I wanted us to be able to pour into them. So even one of our camera ops, Dave, he's like 6'8", and he's holding the camera. And I'm like, yeah, I want this guy to be around because I want the 6'8" guy who might blow his knee out. I want him to look and be like, yo, you're making money filming basketball? Like, that's cool. Like, how do I do that? Like, I wanted that to psychologically sit with them. And maybe it'll snap one day. Maybe it already snapped. Maybe it didn't. But maybe one day they'll look back, especially when the project drops, and they're going to be like, yo, these guys are a bunch of guys who wanted to hoop. Who I'm pretty sure a majority of our crew wanted to be in the NBA, but we just didn't have that opportunity.
Yeah. That's what was special for me, because you took a crew that looks just like them. You know, I live in Harlem, and I just saw something on the track, and there was no one that looked like they should be in Harlem on the crew. I didn't see not one color person there, and that's just one aspect of it, you know. And I was like, y'all using this location, trying to tell that story, but for you, you know, you did that, and I think that was great. Especially, like, I could just think, like, we barely had media because we had a lot of close practices, but we've had some coaches in there because we had some high-level talent. We had Aaron Brooks, Payne Siva, all these people. So, like, they had coaches coming in there. We had, like, every scout. So it would be interesting to see it on the other end, or to see, like, oh, what's possible outside of hoop, like you said, because that's why I kind of started this summer, especially, like, merging my two loves, basketball, even though I just hurt my knee playing ball. I'm about to go get it checked out. And then photography, or just creating that culture. So I want people to see exactly that, like, oh, you might have hoop dreams or, like, love to tell stories in basketball, but you can go the route of you and write about it, or go and produce certain shows. Like, right now, for Sports Illustrated, you're doing something with Rhea. So how does, like, for one, I'm just amazed that you got your hat in all these different things for yourself and for the brand, because you went, like, you're always like, oh, I got to fly here to go produce something. I'm flying here to produce something. You're doing this. How do you juggle all that?
Yeah. The juggling part, for me, I think the biggest thing is having structure in your life. I think the biggest thing that we as creative people, especially when you're your own boss, the thing that we struggle with is structure, right? When your boss doesn't want to pay you until, if your boss isn't going to pay you until, unless you do a good job, you're going to have to get structure. When you're a freelancer and you kind of get paid whether you do a good job or not, that structure goes away.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I get paid either way. 10 minutes late, I'm still going to get paid. Like, no one's going to dock your pay if you're late. So you have to build that structure for yourself. So for me to be able to juggle my own personal endeavors and then be able to deliver on my contract with Sports Illustrated, where I'm giving them what they actually are paying me a salary for, I had to really have a great structure. I have to have daytime and nighttime routines. There's certain things I just have to say no to. You know what I mean? Like, last night was probably the first time in, like, 2 years that I've been out just chilling with my friends at 1 a.m. Like, that's something I had to give up to be able to have the structure so I can get up at 8 a.m., be productive, have a great day, and then after I get off the clock with them, I'm on the clock with me. I had to save my energy and put it in certain places. So structure, creating routines and habits, seeking out self-help, and just creating a normal for you. Like, you want to be consistent in what you do. So, you know, that's pretty much how I've been able to do it. And then also my imagination never shutting that off, right? You mentioned Rhea. You know, I have a weekly WNBA show with Maria Clifton, and I've known Rhea for about 20 years. I met her through my work at the Garden. And before she became the in-arena host for the Liberty and Unrivaled, I always knew she was a star. You know what I mean? I'm like, wow, this is a basketball player, right? I played ball with her. And I'm like, oh, she can actually hoop. Like, and she can hoop with the guys. Like, if you come in there playing around thinking like, oh, she's beautiful, I'm a player, she's gonna bust your ass. Like, I've seen it happen. Like, I've seen her give guys work. So I'm like, oh, she's a hooper. But then her personality is through the roof, and then she's nice. She's not stuck up, right? Normally you meet people that look like Maria and it's like a certain energy, and she's like one of the homies. So I always just knew, like, oh yeah, like, I want to work with Rhea on something. She started DJing and stuff like that. And then when I got to Sports Illustrated, we talked about doing a WNBA show. I'm like, no, I got this. I know who we're doing it with. I know what the show is. Like, just let me cook. And it's been great. We got, our last couple episodes, we had 3 WNBA All-Stars in a row.
Wow.
So, and then we have like some exciting people coming up this weekend that I'm really excited to shoot. Yeah, we're going to take a trip to Miami and capture some stars that are on the rise. It'll be very exciting when it comes out.
Nice. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, Rhea, it's funny because she shoots with my studio partner, Andrew, where we're at here all the time. But me and her, every time I see her, I was like, we should shoot. And I'm like, you be at my studio more than me sometimes, but we just never cross paths in that. But we always talk about it. And I do plan to hopefully have her on here. That's one thing I'm waiting on. I think I told you that. So just thinking about, like, when you said and it's still about juggling things, like, how do you go from, like, I feel like you're creating at a high level for all these different things, and like, what does success look to you at the moment? Because it's always ever changing.
Success for me, I think this might stick with me for a while, maybe until my time here is no longer. I think success for me is making people feel things, challenging people to be better, and to have to process thoughts that they haven't had. So last night we had a town hall for our film, and seeing so many people get emotional about something I created, it's like, wow, like, if God said it's my time, then it's like, yo, that's 50 people that were in that room that I impacted. And that impact could lead to them impacting someone else, and so on and so on and so on. So for me, I think success looks like being able to touch people. Like, yes, engagement is cool, like on social media and on YouTube videos. When you put stuff out, you want that engagement. But like, I'd rather have 10 strong comments than have 100 fire signs in the thing. Like, oh, you just dropped a fire sign. Like, if I haven't compelled you to like personally reach out and be like, yo, you're inspiring me, or this, that, the third, then that's not success to me. You know what I mean? If it just looks cosmetically cool, but it didn't make you feel a certain way, it didn't make you want to, like, you have your exhibit in Port Authority, and I want to walk over there with you after this and go take a look at some of those images. When I look at those images, I always feel like, damn, I can't wait to be a dad, because I don't have a reference point with my own father to connect to. But the images of these men who just look so proud, their chin is high in all the photos, and like, they look like superheroes the way you shot them. And I'm like, that's what I want people to feel. I want people to look at something and then look inward and be like, yo, how can I become that person? You know what I mean? Like, Kanye West had a lyric where he said something like, my friend showed me his son's report card, and I just showed him pictures of my sports car.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm trying not to be that guy who's like, people are like, yo, look, my daughter just graduated 6th grade. She's going to middle school. And I'm like, look, I'm with Carmelo Anthony. It's like, okay. Yeah. Weird flex. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, as cool as this stuff is, like, now I'm looking at success in terms of like building a family and just inspiring people.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that nice compliment, because I feel like that's what I'm similar. Like, I don't even know what my dad looks like, So it's like, and I remember conversations with him.
You've never seen a photo of your dad?
I don't think my mom's. I can't remember. I know. I remember the last time I heard his voice. I was in Seattle. I think I was like 1st grade. Like, I remember exactly where I was and everything.
So you've seen him, you just don't remember what he looks like.
I think I've seen him. Like, I moved when I was like 4 or so, and then back then my mom gave him the choice. Back then when people had to deal with the drugs and everything, so maybe he got on it. My mom was like, yeah, you're either gonna be with the family or cut you off, and she decided, like, all right, you want that route?
Yeah.
And here she is, single mom.
Yeah.
And then when I was in Seattle, my mom would fly back and forth. So I remember the one time, I'm assuming he called. I don't know how I got on the phone, but I just remember a deep voice, As a young boy, that's all you remember. But I remember exactly where I was and everything. So my next iteration is actually, because of that, I want to go back home or back to Seattle and kind of like outside of photographing just everyone, photograph people that were like father figures to me. And then that one might be more personal with my reflection because with this it's more. And I get I'm trying to think about my next step, so I'm thinking about it now. But it's like in the thing, and this is the book that inspired it right here. I'll show it in a second. But I asked what fatherhood means to them, but the story is Black dads. But the next one's gonna be dads, and the reason I do it is like everyone has a fatherhood story. Someone was a father figure to them, someone's that, but not everyone got an opportunity to call someone a dad.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like there's very powerful words in how you use it. I never called someone dad, you know?
Yeah.
My whole life.
Yeah.
You know,
Same
I've had
here.
father figures, but I never had like dad. Like so when my
Yeah.
daughter calls me dad, that means a lot. Like even now, I'm like, I can see it.
So what made this, if you never had this dad connection, what made this significant enough to you that you wanted to pursue this?
I wanted to do it before I even was a dad. It's probably something, maybe because I've had the lack of it, and you know, it's like you go two ways with it. People always ask like, "Oh, do you want to go look out for your dad or whatever?" And I'm like, my mom gave me that choice, so like I'm comfortable with that. You know, some people don't get comfortable. Like I want to do a DNA test and maybe see if he's still alive or if I got siblings. I might have siblings. I don't know, but
I have sisters I never met.
you know, but I have family. I have you guys. You know, I've grown with being an only child my whole life, but that doesn't mean I don't have siblings. You know, I have like some of my closest friends that probably, you know, deeper than family than my family could be. Because, you know, just because you're family, I see so many families that they hate their brother or sister. You know, so it's like, it's unfortunate, but there's that aspect of it. It's like, yeah, I was the only child. I go home by myself, but I do have so much family and friends that I never felt like I was alone. But then when it comes to parenting, I even think about it now. It's very reflective. This birthday, because the gallery was coming out and all that, and I was like, I talked to my aunt. I talked to two of my aunts and my mom. They're all like different mothers that raised me at different times. I live with all of them. Have them tatted on me. But I don't have, even though I had so many dope father figures, I don't have that deep of a bond with like one male in particular. So I would just like wanted to see, I don't know, I just was like, I don't know, I think moms always get a lot of love. They always get the love, but the dads and the men, we don't get love. We get socks, we get, you know, we get very minor moments where you actually get that love. So like, kind of how you said, like, yo, I'm gonna show you a picture of a kid, but I always get asked like, oh, how's your kid? Or at the time, how's your lady? No one ever asked how I felt.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of like, let me ask how they're feeling. Like, what does fatherhood really look like to you outside of chasing, you know, being there and being responsible, providing. We always got to provide. We always got to do this. But like, what does it really feel like to you? Like, you know, we know one of the guys in the gallery, I'll post this picture, but Steph, you know, this guy's a CEO, going back to your thing, and they work 16-hour shifts, but then he goes home and he's on the clock on a different way. You know, he don't just go home and go straight to sleep because he got to be up in the next few hours. He goes and does what he has to do for the kids because, you know, I'm sure when the kids get older, they might be like, Dad's never around.
Yeah.
You know, you don't see that aspect of it.
Yeah.
You know, you just see the moments, but he is active.
Yeah.
So like this guy really tries. Like I give it to him. I'm like, I barely work sometimes. Like I'll be like, this is my work today. I'm ready to clock out after this. Meanwhile, this guy's policing or whatever and what they do on where he works, and then he goes and spends 3-4 hours half sleep sometimes, but he's there, he's present, you know. So like I give it to people like that. I know I bounced all around the question, but it was just like it was just kind of like, I don't know why I wanted to, but it's just something that always called me. And I've had different iterations of it. Like I'll show the book real quick. It's Brian Smith, and if you look at the book and then you go see some of my galleries, like it's of course not this. These are some that I've done in the past that are still here that I haven't even shown yet. But if you look at the book, it's a similar, like a portrait of someone, portrait, and then what I don't even know the exact question he asked, was like what art means to him, or what to the actor or actress. So, you know, you got a whole bunch of different stuff. I don't want to show too much for copyright reasons.
This conversation detour that we took answers my question of what success looks like. Number one, for Brian Smith to inspire you, who opened his book, read it, and decided I'm going to go highlight Black fathers, that's one way that success looks like to me. Like if I can be a Brian Smith for other people, even in this conversation, if anybody watches it and they're like, yo, I picked up a gem and I left with it, that's success. And then also, you being called to something and following through with it is what success looks like for me. Purpose. You know what I mean? It's I don't hear people talk about purpose enough. Purpose is success. Knowing your purpose and fulfilling it, that's success. Because then you sleep at night like, yo, I did something good today. The more days you string together like that, the more happy you're gonna be. Because you're like, yo, I'm actually doing something that's out here. Because like I said, you could have a Lamborghini sports car, and you crash that car, then what do you got? When that car gets repossessed, what do you got? Pictures of when you was in the car, like, that's not gonna give you joy afterwards.
Yeah. You know, even on the way here, as y'all see, this is a different format than I usually do. And I had to lead with, we was out till, I got home like 2-something just because of the train. And then as I'm packing this morning, I was like, I could be lazy, but I was like, I need to treat this like I'm doing this for a client. Like if this was a client shoot, you know, we got 3-4 cameras set up, you know, everything's treated how it is. Greg originally was like, I'm gonna come at 9. And then he's like, you know, with the train, he's gonna come a little later. And I wanted him, first he was like, oh, I'll come help set up. But in my mind, I'm like, nah, you talent right now. You're a guest, you don't need to, but obviously you would. But then on the other end, I was like, all right, I need to bring everything. So like, I was like, I know I'm about to lug this on the train, but if this was a job, I wouldn't be complaining. But for myself, usually I kind of like skimp sometimes because, you know, we get so tired of doing it for others. When it comes to ourselves, we don't do some of the things that we preach to them, you know? So I've been trying to like, that's another thing now, like what success looks like is like trying to step back and be like, what do I really want? That's like with this gallery or photo exhibit, I had the opportunity to do anything. I've been sitting on this since November when I got offered, and I could have went an easy route with like celebrity-driven things. I had people really stop and be like, "Oh, here's a dope photo of say Kendrick, or say you know any celebrity that people probably would stop for more." The gallery is literally 2 blocks away, and what I've noticed sometimes I just pop in there, and just watch people walk by, or then you see the one person just stop and like, "Oh, take it in." So it's interesting because obviously it's in a public space that they're on their way, they're going somewhere. And I had to be very intentional because originally I wanted like 100 dads, but to fit 100 dads in that space, then I got to make the photos smaller. And then you really got to be inclined to like, oh, be nosy or have time to be like, let me go see what's over there and like really read them and this and that. But now if you see they're 2x2, 2 foot by 2 foot photos. So like that stands out no matter how far you are. And even if you don't really pay attention, but there's people that walk by there every day. So they're subconsciously seeing it or seeing black dads, you know. So I had to get. I
want to challenge you to get your Kai Cenat on or something.
Well, this is a part of it.
A 24-hour time lapse
of that,
and just see how many people stop in 24 hours. How many people have intentional engagement? You know what I mean? Like I don't know the best way to achieve it, but it would be cool to see. From midnight to midnight.
I could do that.
How many people stopped?
Yeah.
And how much time those people spent with it? And
you
know they're in the midst
probably get
of
the
these
security
busy
camera
days.
footage too.
Yeah, it would be amazing to just see because, like I said earlier,
I'm trying to think what day I have free. I'm like,
you could have put celebrities in there, and then you would have had a bunch of fire emojis in your comments.
Yeah.
But it's much better when somebody looks at it and then they'll go home and be like, "Babe, you know what I saw in Port Authority today? I saw this thing. Next time you're in Port Authority, look out for it. Like, there's a bunch of black fathers. It was so inspiring." Like, that's to me, like, again, harping on that, it's like, yeah, it's a numbers game, but you want numbers that don't fold. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want numbers that, like, empty calories, essentially. You know what I mean? You want numbers that are actually going to stand the test of time and, like, that are actually going to appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah, for me, and now that this whole shift done changed, and now we're talking about that. But what I love, and one thing right now is alignment. Like everything happens for a reason at the right time and how it's supposed to be. And I've seen it like literally every day, especially like the past 2 months, where at least I really recognize it. Like I did a photo shoot with Steph and his kids here, and we go there. And, you know, it was a moment for obviously him to see it. And his kids were there when I did the actual shoot of him. And usually it's not like that. But, like, so they got the whole experience. Like, here's Daddy taking the photos. And then 2 months later, we did a photo shoot here, family photo shoot. And then we went there. So, like, for me, that's just a great moment. Like, just filled everything full circle. And Harper, my daughter, happened to be there. So just having that, just seeing that little joy that he might get, or then other people, or what I meant, as he was leaving, my other best friend came in to go see my gallery. So I was like, couldn't have planned that any better. Like, literally I said bye to Steph and the family, and then she was right there. And I was like, those moments are great. So then me and Harper and her went to go see it. Or I did another thing with your interns here, where I did their portraits, so I took them to go see it. And as I'm there, and I'm explaining some of the photos of them, as I get to one person, all you hear is, Daddy, there you are. And it was the guy I was about to explain with his kids, and he just happened to be in the area. It's like those moments, those are moments I wish I had on camera. You know, like those are storybook moments. Yeah. And then he brought his 2 kids and his nephew that was in town. Yeah. And for the same thing, it's like the joy of seeing her seeing it. And then the little backstory on that moment is when I met him, he lives in my neighborhood. And we were waiting for his daughter to come off the bus, so he got to tell that story. You know, like, you know, as we were waiting for you at 3:40 or 3 o'clock, whatever. This is the corner where I was, and like that's literally where I think the bus might have even been there because I had to like stop, like yo. So like those little details are like amazing, and I got like stories for everyone that's either a stranger or someone I actually know. So yeah, the purpose of it is sometimes we get lost sometimes with social media or like you said, I guess empty calories is the best thing. Like, does it really bring me joy? X amount of likes. Yeah. I'm stuck in that world. It's like, do I need to post? Do I not need to post? But I don't post because I keep getting jobs off of recommendations and all that. So I'm like, there's a story there.
The reason I say you need to post, and the reason I feel like I need to post, because I'm not really like into that. Like I get up a couple million, I'm gonna have a full-time social person, so I don't have to like. But then again, maybe I enjoy like writing captions. I'm a writer, so I enjoy like putting my words down on a moment or a thought. It's like therapeutic for me. Mm-hmm. But I think that the reason I feel like you have to post is just because, again, your jobs are coming and your bank account is fine, but like the more you post, the more people you touch. Mm. You know what I mean? Sometimes you look at the analytics and they're like 14% of the people that saw this are not your follower. Mm-hmm. So that's like every time you post, somebody new sees your stuff. Someone new is introduced to your story, and someone new might be like, oh shoot, this guy's from Seattle. I'm from Seattle. And I live in New York, and he's doing good. And oh man, if he did it, I could do it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, so those are the reasons I always feel like whenever I'm like, I don't really want to post. I'm like, nah, it's actually touching people. Like, and we've become public figures, which is crazy because we started off just shooting and filming these public figures, but now we're actually people that people know and look up to, and like we have a certain standard that I feel like we kind of have to live by because people are watching us, you know what I mean? And those young photographers, they're gonna look and they're gonna be like, oh, Daniel don't post, I don't gotta post. Yeah. You ain't gonna get popping if you don't post, my boy.
One of my next guests, he's younger, so I'm excited to have him on there. So we were talking about that same thing because he's just like me. He's like, I don't really post that much. I only post my job stuff, but not my personal. And I'll tell him something similar to you, but then I go with my own advice. Like, I don't need to post, you know? So it's like, advice I give other people, sometimes I gotta make sure I do myself. But one reason I kind of struggle is because I made a Substack account, but I haven't posted there. So that's one thing I need to push myself because IG, I only got so much. No one's gonna read a whole caption if I do this. Like that thing I sent you with Remy. What I realized, and I brought up Remy for 2 reasons, because when you said public figures, you know, when something happened in the news with one of them, I get hit up constantly, like if I'm their manager sometimes, you know, on both ends.
1,000%, I can relate.
Or even last night, we chose sicko mode, and I was like, oh, you're going to be Drake. And then what's lyric, it fucked me up because the Remy Pat Poof part. And I was like, ugh. And I was like, this shit, no, it's not even that I'm not singing it, but I'm like, I can't get away from it, you know, sometimes. And it was like, and I love them both to death, and it's like, it's great, but there's humans at the end of the day that decide to do whatever. But it's just funny that, like, no matter how much I try, like, there's something that happens. Like, there's a song that reminds me of one of them all the time, and it's just crazy. But there's a lot of moments, like at Summer Jam, I was very intentional with, I made a reel, and with this reel I just did for fun, and I was to push myself to post, because I usually work Summer Jam, but this year I didn't work it, but I had access. And the reel, I think they liked it, that they asked to collab on it. So as you say, like, I went from maybe just posting to my followers with X amount of followers, where I went to Hot Social, and I was looking at the numbers on there, and it was like X 100,000 or views and everything. I was like, oh, but I put Remy in there, and most people didn't even know she was there. But because, like, I know her, I'm able to get, like, and we're just hanging out, and I'm like, I just want to add this to be fun. But like you said, on the outside looking in, they probably think I'm like her manager or something sometimes, because I'm always around her or on vacation. So I don't know. I guess we do have to share sometimes. Yeah,
got to, man.
More and more. But I just want to share more of the story aspect than just, here's a photo of us on vacation, you know. So that's why I wanted to do the Substack.
Curate what you choose to share.
Yeah.
Like, my personal moments, my decision-making process on, like, what to share, what not to share. There's certain moments that I just keep for myself, where I'm just like, yo, this is just a moment that I feel like is important for me and my friends to have in our memory banks. And then there's other moments that I'm like, wow, like, we look really happy and this is really fun, and like, I think somebody will see this and laugh or smile or whatever like that. And it's like, I'm not posting anything to show off. I'm posting it because it might help somebody else be like, oh shoot, like, that's dope. It might help bring attention to something that we're doing, you know what I mean? And the ultimate cause is always greater, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, we don't have to flex every time. Every time you photograph a celebrity, you don't have to flex it.
Yeah, that's why I try not to.
But you can curate the story that you tell around it, right?
Yeah.
You can figure out ways to share parts of yourself as you share those moments, you know what I mean? And that's what I always try to do. Like, what story can I tell to go along with this that will have people learn more about me or take something away from it, and actually, like, not just be like, oh, he just threw a clip up there.
I had an inside joke in my head when I heard stories. So I was like, shit. Yeah, you know, we're wrapping up on time, so I just wanted to ask, you know, usually you already asked me a few questions, but if you had your, I don't know, I was going to say one ask me a question, but you already asked about the gallery.
I got more questions for you.
Yeah, ask me one more question and then I'll transition it to close off.
So, I think that one of the things that we probably never have spoken about is, you ever think about why you're good at what you do? And what I mean by that is, I had the realization sometime in the past year and a half or so that I'm very good at what I do because ever since I was a kid, I was super curious, right? Having a certain curiosity led me to asking a lot of questions. And because I was always asking questions, when it came time to start interviewing and doing those things, like, it was second nature to me. I was always thinking about questions in my head, and, you know, that's something that did it. But to add the psychological level to it, somebody pointed out to me at one point that because I grew up in a family that, and I'm Haitian American, first generation, and because my family didn't communicate in the healthiest of ways, I choose to communicate through my art, and that's what made me talented. But have you ever looked inward and said, like, yo, because I'm an athlete, I'm a great photographer, or because of this, I'm good at that, or?
I know how to answer it already. There's two things that came to my mind as you asked, and one, it goes back to me being an only child. So there's times I'm just spectating. You know, I got this tattoo, and I think it's a great oxymoron. It says no spectators. I got it from a run a running group, the Speed Project. That's one of their mottos that they lead with, and it's twofolded on the running aspect, but I think it's great because it's like no spectators in a sense for me is like don't let the outside people give advice. Like they're not in your life, like they don't know, so they can't really give you the proper advice. That's one way to look at it. It's an oxymoron for me because I'm a professional spectator. I'm literally spectating. I go with like I'm the smartest fly on the room right now because like I get to be in so many great rooms around. Sometimes people would pay thousands of dollars to see some of these people just to hear their knowledge. So I'll just get blessed. I get paid to do that sometimes. So I'm like literally the smartest fly. But to answer your question, as a only child, I would just spectate a lot. And I remember one moment when my mom got sick for the first time. She had cancer. I would go through the same routine, and it was definitely depression. Like when you think about it, after school, the community center was across the way. This is a 7th grade. I'll go, everyone goes and links up there and plays ball, 21 to start and then run full or whatever. I would go to the vending machine, get grandma cookies and whatever, and a Lipton iced tea, and just sit in the corner in the basketball, in the gym and just watch everyone. And instead of participating, I would just sit until one day someone asked me, like, what's going on? First time I went and cried in front of someone. But I would always just spectate because I wanted to be around, but I just wouldn't like share. I just wanted to be around, not be alone. But then I remember, with cable, I almost cried just now thinking about my mom. But,
yeah, I got emotional because I didn't realize your mom's been fighting for almost 25 years, if my math's correct.
Yep.
It's been almost 25 years that she's been battling, and that's inspiring because she's persevered, and like that's impactful, and you honor her legacy all the time. So, yeah, man. Shout out to your mom for real. She's a fighter.
Now I need a second before I answer the second one because it was going to be
take your
funny.
time.
No, because that was going to be funny.
No, take your time.
So, yeah.
Take your time.
Yeah, my mom's struggling right now, but she's fighting.
25 years of fighting, man.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, there's a lot of things that when people ask how I'm doing, I'm just like, I can't complain.
Yeah.
We're doing this right now.
Yeah.
Or my mom probably, she went to work this morning, but there's times where she's throwing up all night and I'm still doing all this. So, I want to tell this. So it's funny, and it has to do with middle school too. When cable first became a bigger thing where we got like extended channels.
Yeah.
Seattle people don't realize there's black people in Seattle for some reason. So I'm trying to, when I first moved here, I was like, wait, there's black people out there? I was like, yeah, it's hilarious. But when the cables and going past 100 channels, me and my good friend LJ, rest his soul, he died at 16. But there was a moment where we was like, yes, channel 600 so-and-so is a ghetto sports report. And he would grab, my bad. He'll just grab a pencil and start, and I'd be a cameraman, but you hold this, and we'd be walking around, like we'd be at the playground and people playing basketball or whatever, or wherever, we're teenagers. But I would literally follow around like this. And we would be documenting the people in the hood playing sports and all that. Yeah. So like, I was a cameraman with this. Wow. And just doing that. And those are memories.
Wow.
Yeah, like stuff like that. And it's like, I've always been a camera person, even before I have it. And then obviously it's like, I've always probably wanted to like just document just my life. Like that's why I got a camera. It's like, I want to just take pictures of these things, especially back then. I had an iPhone 3 at that time, or 3G. So it's like, it wasn't a good camera like we have now. So it's like, let me buy a camera and just start documenting my life. And now it's transitioned to documenting other people's lives, but it's still my life, obviously. Yeah. So, and then I try to, it's twofolded because I try to like think outside of myself and put myself in like the other person or whatever the subject is, point of view more than any. Like even today on the way here, I had all these bags or everything, and there was a pregnant lady, and I was like, I wanted to get up, but if I get up, it's gonna be worse for everyone because now I got to move things. I'm taking up space where I felt bad because, it was a pregnant lady and some lady looked at me like, you're not going to get up. And I'm like, I got so much stuff right now. Yeah. So I guess just being empathetic for others is something that I deal with. Like you always tell me I'm a good guy for certain things out, personal life things, but I hear that a lot. And I guess I just think about other people more than myself sometimes. Yeah. So and trying to do what's right for them, because I know, it could be worse. So yeah. But to answer your question, I've been a cameraman since before I even had before the technology. Yeah, the Ghetto Sports Report. I'll never forget, because that's like guys are doing WWE stuff. So we just recording and joking while we waiting for our turn, that's how we pass time. Yeah. So I'm about to cut all this.
No, I can't cut that out.
I know. Yeah.
You ought to say that. That's the realest part of this whole conversation.
Yeah, and I think our part of your camera. Sorry, y'all keep talking, but I think I didn't hit restart here, so that last part cut here. But we have that camera.
Yeah.
That got my mom. She's been fighting for 7th grade, and we got a little bit of time, so I'm gonna keep talking. We're going to extended hours, but it's getting deep. And I shared a story, and it was my personal statement for my colleges, and applying for external scholarships. I've got like 40,000 in external scholarships off this paper.
Wow.
It starts off with 3 words, and it just captures you. It's life. Well, I forgot the 3 words now that I'm thinking about it. It's like life, death, and cancer. These are this is what's been going through my mind leading up to my 13th birthday. So that's what I've been dealing with since I'm 13. And yeah, I had other family, but it's really just me and my mom. But it's like on my birthday, she had her surgery. And I remember where I was. I went to my homegirl's house, and she just was there for me. Let me just be there. I'm just waiting for my mom to call me and say I didn't go to the hospital because I was so young. She didn't want me there. So I'm just waiting for my mom to call. So that was a long day.
So I don't. I often forget about. I don't forget about it, but I often don't really speak about it. I never had cancer, but I had a tumor removed from my head when I was in 11th grade, and that was what my college essay was about. Was about that time when they had to open up my head and take a tumor out, and I was just saying to myself, like, man, that was the first time that I really understood, like you said, life, death. I didn't have the cancer, thank God, like, it came back non-cancerous, but that was the first time that I started to process those first 2 words, life and death, and it impacted me in a great way where it was like, again, purpose. It's like, how do I make the best of whatever time I am given? Because you don't know how much of it you're gonna get. I'm just 17. I'm not thinking I'm gonna have a tumor. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, what is this? You know what I mean? Like, I heard about it in health class, but like, I didn't know this could happen to kids. Like, it can happen to anybody at any time. So it's just.
Hey, Ghetto Sports Report. 3 years later, he died in a car accident, coming back from Vegas from a basketball tournament.
Insane.
The driver fell asleep at the wheel. I think he noticed because my 2 friends were in the back seat. I think that they noticed he tried to wake up the driver, and then the car just flipped. Everyone else had a seatbelt on, he didn't. Flew out the so I've been processing death since 16.
Crazy.
And that was one of my closest friends. So I and then since then, Seattle's in the trench. I've learned I'm in the trenches. So many shootings. After I graduated, being out here, people don't realize this. Every year I lost someone close to me, but I'm out here dealing with, just trying to get good grades or living in New York City. That it was tough times. Our star point guard got shot in the face. Thank God, shout out to Donnie, he's still alive, but my man had to change his life. He's blind, So it's that's when there's so many different moments for people I can tell you that. And a lot of us don't have dads. Now I don't think about why certain things. Another friend, his best friend died. He committed suicide because he died. There's a lot of death and just processing feelings that you don't. Therapy wasn't a thing for us back then. They never say you can go to therapy. If you went to therapy, you've seen
crazy,
that kind of stuff, or you're you really can't do it. It wasn't as open as it is now. So it's how do you really process that? How do you really? For us, it was on the court.
That's another reason why you need to post.
Yeah, those are things.
Those people from back home who are in the trenches need to see damn, Danny's out here.
Oh yeah.
They gotta see that, and that'll
Yeah.
make their day. I have a childhood friend who he lives a very you know, I don't know what the right word I want to use is. I don't want to say regular, but like, you know, he lives like a more grounded lifestyle. You know, he has a job, he goes to work, comes back, he has his daughter. He's not around the stuff that we're around. So when he sees it, he's like, bro, you like, it does a lot for him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm patient and I allow him to be excited about it. You know, sometimes it would be like, oh, chill, it's nothing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, nah, like, go ahead, be excited about it because, we walked home from school together.
Yeah.
If me doing my thing, like, if you're gonna look at that and just be like, yo, my boy's out here doing it, and you're gonna feel like you're part of it, I'm gonna rep that mantle for all of us.
I usually wear, actually I thought about wearing it today. Like I got a few of my friends, I wear their merch, and like I don't obviously talk to them on a day to day, but these are people that are still in my life all the time. So like if they got a new shirt or something, I'll cop it or they send it to me, like I wore it with Remy in Tulum. I could have wore anything. I was like, nah, I'm over here because I know it's gonna go viral. And maybe someone, like, that's when I'm like, all right, I guess purpose and like thinking outside of ourselves, like, all right, that's an intentional moment. Or if I'm doing Summer Jam, I know I'm gonna be on stage. Everyone's gonna see me just because I'm on stage. So I'm like, I'm gonna wear my boy's hoodie or something, So there's those moments where I am intentional and try. But like, I always forget that. Now I lived in New York longer than I lived in Seattle, but like, that's a whole nother life. Before I live this life now that I do cherish a lot. Like my other friend just passed away. It's been a year. He got shot. A year on June 30th. So this is something I'm dealing with my daughter talking about death too, because she just asked me if I'm still sad that he passed away. Like not on a day to day, but it's things I think about, and I'm trying to explain that to her. And now that we're talking about, death and all that, we talked about it briefly right before we hit record, but like, she's telling me she's scared to die because it's like, and that all happened because I killed the bug. And then she wanted me to kill the bug, but then, and she literally asked about my friend passing away. And then I was like, we don't really know what happens after, like, and I was like, and then it kind of scared her because I was like, imagine we got squished or something bad happened. And it's like, you don't have we don't know what it feels like, just hopefully it's painless whenever we do go. And then we had a little bit more convo, but like, I think that's when she, like, it hit her. It's like, yo, you play Roblox or we play these games or watch movies and you don't value life as much because you're gaming and you just come back to life, especially at her age, that, there's an ending to this or whatever. So just trying to appreciate it, but trying to process and tell a young 8-year-old, don't worry too much, but, value the day-to-day or take a phone call. This girl don't answer the phone at all, but it's like there's going to be a moment where the call stopped, unfortunately. But I don't know.
These are the things we're going to learn along the way for sure.
It's some turned into therapy over here this morning.
Well, that's what
that's
art
part
is.
Of You're
not, if conversations about art aren't leading you to art and soul, exactly. If conversations about art aren't touching your soul, then you're not making the right art, and your art's not starting the right conversations.
Yeah.
So again, like like your word is alignment, and this whole conversation's been aligned because we didn't come in here with a plan of what we were going to talk about. We just had a conversation, and we touched on so many deep topics and shared so many things that we don't normally talk about. And the art is therapy. Like I said, I found out recently that I was using this as a form of therapy or as a form of like expression and stuff. And then I learned that I have to get the way that I express my feelings in personal relationships is very immature opposed to my art. I can have the most beautiful conversation in my art, but then when it comes time to have a conversation with a loved one, someone that you're dating or whatever, it's like, yo, how come I can't say I feel sad, or how come I can't say I feel disappointed? How come I can't verbalize these things? And so now it's like, that's why I said the personal growth thing. It's like now I'm chasing the art. It's like, yo, you made this love story so like poignant. How do you make your real life love story match up with that? It's like you have conversations like this with your friends, and then you become a better person, and you become a more realized person, and then as you become a better person, your art continues to evolve. So
yeah, you know, our guy J. Cole, shout out to him. He has a song, one of my favorite songs is The Cure, and it's like I don't know if you know it, but it's like on YouTube. But he has a line, and I wrote it last night while I was waiting for the train, and it's aligned right now because it's after a few drinks come my realest convos. So like, you know, it's like that's what last night we had a lot of drinks on. Shout out to Snyder bringing the soju too much, but I was like, yo, we just having fun, having vibes. But then the other part of his thing is like, you know, he can't have a conversation with his loved ones.
yeah,
When he's, you know, he can do it on camera. It's literally what you just said. So that's what I was just interesting. It was like, yeah, when you drink, you're the most, or just in any moment, like it's easy to, when you're creating, to like really be artful or get whatever's on your soul out, like we're doing now. But then if you got something to say to your dearest loved one, it's hard to sometimes even put it into words. It's an interesting thing. Yeah, I tried with my mom because, like, you know, I don't know how long she got. She's healthy, but we tried our best to have like as many in-depth combos. And you know, I'm in New York, she's in Vegas, so I barely see her in person. But I feel like our bond is like I think because we're not close, our bond is even closer.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No,
So,
it does. It does make sense.
Because that's all I have is like
Long distance relationships, people fall in love faster because you're doing less nonsense and you're doing more talking and connecting. So,
and you don't take for granted
that distance
things,
that's between y'all leads to deeper combos because you have less distractions.
Yeah.
You go hang out with someone, you go to a restaurant,
Or you see
you're
them all
busy
the
with your
time.
face in the food and this, that. But now when you just talk on the phone, you're like, all right, let's get to the real stuff. Like, how you feeling? How's this? What'd you do yesterday? You're talking more in depth.
Yeah, and like going back to her, like my only way to be there for her, because I can't be there unless she'll tell me like, oh, if it's really serious, I need you to fly out. Like when she had her lung cancer, you know, surgery, so where they took out part of her lung, you know, I'm there, and this is bad for me because I do visualize everything, and I guess because of photography now I have like a kind of like, you know, I'll never forget certain moments. So like I've seen her like with her scars, and I got to treat her scars. So those are memories that just flood into my brain now. But the other aspect of being in person is I can only be there for her mentally and spiritually. So if she's going through chemo and losing her hair, I shave my head just because that's the only way. And I surprise her with little things like that. So that's the only way to show like I'm there and her in solidarity. So, and that's like, you know, the art there. I did a little video and that ended up being like a sponsored thing. I thought it was kind of weird. Like a brand, I forgot which center it was, but it had to do with lupus. They reached out to me. My mom also has lupus. That girl going through the ringer.
Yeah.
But that was I guess a similar thing too. I was like, all right, if I can share this on social, and it is going to reach other people. And I actually just shared that she had lung cancer. And that day, someone that comes to my workshops was like, oh, can I have some advice? Because my mom has surgery in a week.
Wow.
So, and if I didn't share it, and I just shared it randomly too. So I guess that is the impact
Wow.
that, you know, like now that I'm thinking about it, I was like, yeah, those are the little moments that really mean a lot.
Yeah.
And she was just someone we've only talked a few times. She came to my photo walk, but now we talk, like I ask her about her mom, obviously.
Yeah.
And now we have a deeper connection. Yeah. So, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. I love it.
Yeah. It's definitely transitioned to something differently. And I don't know what your schedule is like, because I'm like, we can keep this going, because this is just therapy and art. But I do want to, I guess, give them, I guess, a last little bit. And I'm like, this has been great. It's already, I don't even know how to end this properly, because this is very different. But to the viewers, I know just meaningful connections, I feel like, is the best thing. And this just goes with life now, is just keep chasing meaningful connections, and hopefully you find the right people that you're able to have these kind of conversations with off camera, on camera, because they're very important to have. And sometimes what they say, this generation is somehow the loneliest, even though we're the most connected. Because like you said, you go out to eat, you see couples all the time. They're out at this nice restaurant, but they're not even engaging because
Yeah.
they're on their phones or whatever, or they want to share it to the outside world, which is fine. So, yeah.
I think, like, if you're looking for a closing thought, I think something that's interesting for me, last night, I had a young man ask me for tips on directing and writing, and I said, "You're asking me a vague question. It's so wide arching, like that could go anywhere." And he talked about, and I told him, the best advice that I could give you is find out what you want to talk about. Find out what you want your conversation to be. And that can change every year, every project, that can change. But like, if you're just doing it with aimlessly and not knowing what it is that you want to talk about and why it's important for you to talk about it, you know what I mean? Like, if you're into mountain climbing and you feel like more people need to mountain climb, it's such a spiritual experience, then go make a film about mountain climbing. You know what I mean? Like, whatever it is that speaks to you. If you're just someone who I like wacky comedy, and now they're not making wacky comedy anymore, go make a wacky comedy. Like, if you're trying to do anything with a camera in your hand or anything creative at all, figure out why you want to do it. And then go do that and have a purpose with it and understand how to do it. And that'll inform all of your decisions. You write it down on a piece of paper and that'll inform all your decisions. When someone asks you to do something, you look back and say, it doesn't line up with this. I don't need to do that. And someone, you know what I mean? Like, so I think that for me would be the biggest general advice that I could give to anyone, is just find your voice. Like, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, he asked.
And why do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, he asked me about like storytelling in certain frames, because he also wants to do animation or something along those lines. And I was like, photos are one single frame at a time. So that's obviously it's one photo is 1,000 words or whatever. But I was like, you got to get a little more intentional. Like you said, it's a very general question. But I was like, you just got to figure out what your subject is that you're trying to portray. Is it a landscape that you need to step back, or is it like an individual and you want to get like real in-depth or personal, or like how do you want to show that person? Do you want to show them from a wider set and where you have so many different things to tell that story, or is it very in-depth and personal? I was like, you just got to get intentional with what you want.
Intentional, every frame.
Yeah, and just really think about what you're trying to portray for that one image, because it does translate when it's done right and not just a random pray and spray kind of thing. So yeah, this has been great. Y'all been in the frame with us, Greg Cally.
Yes, sir. We went in the frame, out the frame.
Yeah. And I just saw that because I have my good old screen here. But thank you again, man. We're going to keep talking. We're going to go walk over to the photo gallery.
Yeah, man,
and have
I'm
some
excited.
More combos. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, peace, y'all. I like that.